You're in an argument. Your heart is pounding. You're trying so hard to make your point, to be heard, to stand up for yourself, and then it happens. Your eyes start to burn, your voice cracks, suddenly tears are streaming down your face. And now you're not angry anymore. Now you're confused, embarrassed. And the other person is probably telling you that you're overreacting, being emotional, or worse, that you were never actually angry at all. But here's what most people don't realize. Crying when you're angry isn't weakness. It's not manipulation, it's not you falling apart. It's actually your body doing something brilliant and deeply human. It's your nervous system trying to save you from yourself. And by the end of this video, you're gonna understand exactly why it happens, what it really means about you, and why you should probably stop feeling ashamed of it. I used to think something was wrong with me. I'd get angry at someone I cared about, and instead of yelling or standing firm, I'd just start crying. It felt like a betrayal of my own emotions, like my body was sabotaging me in the moment I needed it most. I felt weak, broken even. It wasn't until I started understanding the actual psychology behind it that everything changed. And if this is something you experience, this will change how you see yourself too. Here's the thing about anger that most people get wrong. Anger isn't really about noise or force or rage. Not always. For a lot of people, anger is silent. It's internal. It builds up like pressure in a container, and your body's desperately looking for a way to release it. And that's where the tears come in. Think about what happens when you get angry, but you can't actually express it. Maybe you're at work and your boss does something unfair that you can't just yell at them. Maybe you're with family and you disagree on something important, but expressing your anger feels unsafe because you were taught growing up that angry people are scary or bad or selfish. Maybe you're in a relationship and you're furious, but part of you is terrified that if you let yourself be truly angry, the person will leave. So you hold it in. You swallow it. You try to keep it together. Your nervous system picks up on all of this. Your heart rate climbs, your breathing gets shallow, your muscles tense, stress hormones flood your system. Your body is in full activation mode, ready to fight or run. But here's the problem. You're not actually fighting. You're not running. You're frozen. You're stuck with all of this energy and nowhere for it to go. It's like your nervous system is revving at 100 miles an hour while you're standing still. And that collision creates unbearable internal pressure. And then something breaks. Not your spirit, something actually physical. Your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body that's designed to calm you down, activates. And tears come pouring out. Your body just gave itself permission to release. This is where it gets interesting, because crying during anger isn't actually about sadness at all. It's about overflow. It's your nervous system's pressure valve opening. When you cry, your heart rate actually comes down. Your breathing starts to regulate. Those stress hormones get metabolized and cleared out. Physiologically, your body's doing exactly what it needs to do to survive this moment. Tears are the tool it chose. But there's more happening than just the physical reset. When you cry, you're communicating something without words. You're telling people in the room and yourself that you're overwhelmed, that this matters, that you're emotionally saturated. For a lot of people who've learned that direct anger isn't safe, tears become the permission slip they need to show that something is genuinely wrong. Some of you reading this grew up in homes where anger was dangerous. Maybe a parent had a temper. Maybe expressing anger meant being punished or abandoned or called selfish. Your nervous system learned early that if you get angry, bad things happen. So now when anger surfaces, there's immediate fear attached to it, guilt, shame. A part of you that believes there's something wrong with you for even feeling it. And your body learned to bypass the anger, or at least to water it down by releasing it through tears instead. Here's what's actually wild. This doesn't make you weak. It often means the opposite. People who cry when they're angry are usually people who feel everything deeply. They're highly attuned to other people's emotions. They care intensely about their relationships. They value fairness and connection.
They're often empaths or highly sensitive people whose nervous systems just process the world at a higher volume than other people's. Think about it. If someone is crying during an argument, they're showing you something real. They're not performing, they're not calculating how to hurt you or get what they want. They're genuinely overwhelmed. Their internal experience is so intense that their body is literally forcing them to process it. And most people who cry when angry are actually embarrassed by it. They feel like they've failed. They try to hide it. They apologize for it. They're not strategically using tears to manipulate. They're having an involuntary response to an unbearable internal pressure. And that's the whole insight right there. Crying during anger is a tension and release cycle. Tension builds from emotional overload, from difficulty expressing what you really feel, from physiological activation that has nowhere to go, from conflicts between what you feel and what you've learned is safe to feel. Release happens when your nervous system finally hits its limit and tears become the outlet. The people who cry when they're angry aren't broken. They're not manipulative. They're not overreacting or being too emotional. They're having an honest, involuntary, deeply human response to a situation that matters enough to completely overwhelm them. They feel the world intensely. They care about getting it right. They're often more aware of the complexity of a conflict than people who can easily express anger without tears. So if this is you, if you've ever felt ashamed of crying during an argument or angry moment, it's time to reframe this. Your tears aren't proof that you aren't allowed to be angry. They're a proof that you feel deeply enough to be angry, that you care enough for it to matter, that your nervous system is intelligent enough to try to regulate itself when it gets overloaded. You're not weak. You're human. You're just experiencing emotions at an intensity that requires a more dramatic release. And there's nothing wrong with that.